Hi boys, welcome back. So we are going to tackle what is called as completing the square. So we're still solving quadratic equations. So you're still having an x squared, which still means that you're getting, two answers. But the process now is called completing the square. Now, I'll be honest with you, this is not the best method that's out there. However, you just have to do it for this lesson. And then you pretty much never have to do it again until I believe you get to maybe trigonometry or calculus. But it's pretty much a useless method, but I still have to teach it. All right, so here we go. All right, so for an expression of the form x squared plus bx, you can add a constant c to the expression so that the x squared plus bx plus c is a perfect square trinomial. Now, if you don't remember what perfect square trinomials were, I can refresh your memory. If you had x squared plus 6x plus 9, and you were to find factors of 9 that would add to give you 6, you would have x plus 3 and x plus 3. And the other way to write that, of course, is x plus 3 squared. So this is the answer to that. That's what it means to be a perfect square trinomial, okay? So you would be adding this c to the problem, and you do that by completing the square, okay? So here are the steps that you need to follow. So if you have your problem that looks like this, so you have x squared plus bx, your a is obviously 1, and your b is going to be a number, okay? You need to find 1/2 of b, okay? So pretty much as you're taking b, whatever number it is, and you're dividing it by 2. And for your sake, I'm going to make these all equal whole numbers. So no fractions whatsoever. Okay, now once you have this number that you divided by 2, you then square that number. Okay, and then you add it to your original problem. Okay, so pretty much is you have x squared plus bx. You're going to add that number, whatever you get, into this box, and you would have to add it to the other side as well. Okay, so it's all about finding this new c value. Okay, so let's do a little mini example. Here's our problem. You have x squared plus 6x. So it wants you to literally complete the square. So you're finding me the c value. Okay, so we're going to divide b by 2. So this is your b, and whoops, I'll make this a little bit better for you. This is your b, this is your a. Well, a doesn't really matter. So you need to do 6 divided by 2, which gives you 3. Okay, pretty self-explanatory. I told you you would get a whole number. Now, you need to square that result. So you need to do 3 squared is 9. And then you're going to add that result to my problem. So this was my problem. I'm adding 9. Oh wow, that looks super familiar to you. So now I need you to actually factor that, which you already know the answer to that, because factors of 9 that add up to give you 6 would be 3 and 3, and it's squared. So there's your answer. So this is the process, is you're finding me that 9, okay? So let's do another one. So x squared minus 10x, so you have a and b is negative 10. So we need to find half of b, so it'd be negative 10 divided by 2, which is negative 5. Okay, so now square that result. Now be careful, boys. You're getting a positive 25. Your c is always going to be a positive number. So now we're going to add it to our problem. So you get x squared minus 10x plus your 25. So this is my trinomial, but I need to factor this. So I need factors of 25 that would add to give you 10, and it's going to be the same number, and I'm pretty sure that number would be a negative 5. And there you go. So those were the steps. So now we're going to do 2 full examples of you actually giving me the x equals, okay? Because that's the whole point of this, is you're trying to complete the square, but then also give me the x equals. So the method of completing the square can be used to solve any quadratic equation. Again, it's not the best method. The best method is something you'll learn next week, but for right now, you have to suffer through it, okay? Now, in order for this method to actually work, you have to write it in the form like this, okay? So you have to have your x squared plus or minus your bx, and then a number on the right side, okay? So here we go. So you're going to solve x squared minus 16x equals negative 15. So right away, you have this on the left side. The negative 15 is literally going to stay where it is, okay? So we're going to complete the square. So write this down. Okay? So you are finding what number needs to go in the box, and you're going to add it to both sides, and you're always adding it, okay? So we need to find this number. So if you remember, your b is negative 6. So if I go over here and negative 16, and you do negative 16 divided by 2, you would get what? Negative 8. And then we need to square that, and it looks like our magic number we're trying to find is 64. So x squared minus 16x plus 64. And I'm also going to do it on the other side, because you know that rule in math. If you do something to one side, you do it to the other side. So look, so now you have that plus 64 on both sides. Now, you're going to combine like terms. So negative 15 plus 64 would be 49. Now over here, it's going to look like this. So you're going to find factors of 64 that added to give you that negative 16. Well, pretty sure it's a negative 8. Okay? Now, at this point, you should know exactly what to do, because you learned this a few days ago. You need to get rid of the little 2, and you do that by taking the square root of both. So then you have x minus 8 equals. You need to remember the plus or minus. You are going to get 2 answers. So plus or minus 7. Okay, and you're going to be getting whole numbers. There are no fractions involved today. So something that might make it easy for you is to kind of break this down into the 2 different problems. So if you have x minus 8 equaling positive 7, but then over here you have x minus 8 equaling negative 7. So you have to use the positive 7, and then you use the negative 7. So if you go back to the first problem, if you add 8 to 7, you're getting x equals 15. And to the right, if you add 8 to both sides, you're getting x equals 1. And there you go. So it's very beneficial to you if once you get down to the second to last step, you break it apart and then you solve them individually. Okay? So we'll do one more. So this one is x squared plus 18x equals negative 17. Okay? And again, I just want to kind of remind you. So let's just, for hypothetical situation, let's just say this is what the problem looked like. Okay, so if this is what it looked like, you would have to move that 17 over there, because I'm pretty sure in your homework, you need to move that number over. Okay, so you're not looking for standard form. Move this number to the right. Okay, so we already did that. Okay, so now back to the problem. So we need to literally complete the square. So we have x squared plus 18x plus our box, or square, equals negative 17 plus our square. So over to the right, we need to do b divided by 2, then we square that. So b is 18. So we got 18 divided by 2 squared. Looks like, what is it, 9 squared, so 81. So 81 is the number that's going in the box. So we got x squared plus 18x plus 81 equals negative 17 plus 81. Not follow PEMDAS, but combine like terms. So negative 17 plus 81 is 64. Over here, you need to find me factors of 81 that would add to give you 18. Looks like it's 9 and 9. You only need to write it once. So now you have something that's squared, and you undo that by square rooting both sides. And you're getting x plus 9 equals, remember, plus and minus 8. Now I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to do x plus 9 equals positive 8. And then I'll go down here and do x plus 9 equal negative 8. So obviously for the first one, if you minus your 9, you get negative 1. And at the bottom, if you minus your 9, you are getting negative 17. Okay, so again, no fractions. Okay, you're gonna be getting radicals that you know. So like the radical of 64, you knew. If I go backwards, you have the radical of 49. You're gonna get ones that you know. Okay, so if you get one that you don't know, well then there's your first mistake. All right, so just complete the square for the worksheet that you have for homework, and then pretty much you will never see it again. All right, boys, I will see you later.